Hello, this is Kat. Welcome to my channel. And I had someone ask me um, about, what you do with an 11 count versus a 14 count. Okay. Now, this is a thing of floss. The floss has 6 strands of thread in it. Okay. And when you're using 11 count, you need to separate your floss into split it in half basically. And what you're doing is you're getting 3 strands on each side. Okay. And I know it's terrible because I'm waving you around a lot. Now I do it this way. I just split it this way and let it hang down, and I just slowly separate them. Now, as a beginner, it might be easier if you take 1 strand at a time, and you can literally, you do this, you can literally separate 1 strand at a time. See if I can get you on the camera. And you just keep pulling, and you pull 1 strand completely out of the away from the other floss. Okay, there's one. And then you do another one. Same way. I'm going to back you up a little bit so maybe you can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. Okay, this is the second one. Now see, there's only 2 strands left on this halfway. So you pull the thread and you just hold it like that, and it's going to roll up a little bit. Can you see that? And you just keep pulling it and keep it from tangling. And there's a second thread. Then you kind of let it straighten itself out a little bit. And then you come for a third one. Okay, there's your third one. Same thing, you grab a hold of it and just pull. Very gently pull your thread out. Okay, there. Now you got 3 strands laying there. And what you got is you got 3 strands left in this group of floss. Okay, there's only 3 in there. And that's what you need for 11 count. So let me move this out of the way so it's not in the way. And then what you do is you gather up your thread. Okay. And you have to be very careful and not let it get tangled. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that they're all down hanging in the same length. Okay. There's 2. All right. And then there's 3. If I can get a hold of it. And then you just very gently just sort of kind of pull it until it straightens itself out. But you have to do it very carefully, or you'll end up with a massive knot, and you will end up being either cutting it or whatever. So there is your 3 strands for an 11 count. Okay. And I'm not sure if what I'm working on here is an 11 count or not. It may not be. Hang on. No, it's not. Okay. But anyway, with a now I'm going to show you what to do with a for a 14 count. Okay. Now I personally like the 14 counts because it's, I don't know, I like the smaller um, stitches and whatnot. But anyway, say this is your floss. So now you want 1 thread. So you grab a hold and you do the same thing you did before. You just pull that 1 thread out. Okay. You set this one aside because you don't need it. And what you do, my hands aren't very good at this. You got one end here, okay? And what you do is you put your other end together with that one, like so. And I always put my finger kind of in the middle. You see that? And I just sort of kind of work it down until you have a loop, basically. Okay? And then you take, and there's my thread. Let me get my needle threader, because I do not thread needles without a needle threader. Okay? Now there's several different kinds, and this one here is a new one, so I figured I'd try it out. Okay? And what you do is you take your loop, if you can keep a hold of it, and you kind of run it through that little loop right there. And then you just take and pull it through like so. All right. And that is how you get your 14 count set up to sew. Okay. If I could keep a hold of it, I keep letting it go. But anyway, there's the loop. You keep the loop down on this end. See here? Like that. And then what you do, because this is the part of the cat, and the color is a 310. So what you do is you stick your needle through your Ada cloth right there, and you begin. Okay. Now you hang on to your loop. You bring your needle back up through the other side of the square where your stitch is going to be. Okay. You run your needle through that loop and pull her kind of tight, not real tight. And then what I do, let me get down real close. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Then what I do is I take and I pull my thread up a little bit, run it back through the same hole that I started in, and then run it back down. And then you'll have that little piece right there. And then that's your first leg of your cross. And then you bring it up and go back down. And that is the beginning of your stitches. Okay? And, come on. And you just keep doing the same thing. Just make sure that your leg of your stitches all go in the same direction. Because I'm right-handed, so I go from the left bottom, okay, when I start, to the right. So left bottom to the right top, and then usually I go from the right bottom to the left top. But I didn't do it that time. Okay, we're gonna go this way then. That's your right, it's your left top to your right bottom, like so. That way your first leg is going in the same direction as the other one. And then your next leg, you start at the left bottom and go to the right top. Okay? And you just keep doing that and make sure that like I said, make sure your stitches are all going in the same direction. So you got to have your leg, the first leg of your cross needs to go one way, and then the second, which goes over the top of the stitch, goes from here to there, and goes from bottom to top, just like so. Very simple, very easy, and like that. And you just keep going. You know, you can drop down and keep going that way. I always end up going back to the beginning if I can, as long as it's not too far of a jump. And I do the same thing. The left bottom, right top. All right, like so. Then I go to the left bottom. Sorry about that. Whoop. Ah, I'm just not having good luck today. Okay. Hang on, I got a knot. Unfortunately, you do get them. Okay, you have that. A lot of times you can take your needle and put it through your loop there, and it'll unknot itself. There. Okay, let's start again. Sorry about that. And I'm going to have to readjust you probably. Yep. And anyway, the left bottom to the right top, like so. And that's the completion of your X. Okay. Same way goes here. You go to the left bottom, no, your right bottom to your left top. Okay. And then you go from your left bottom, like so, to your right top. Okay. It's very simple. Now that's the way I do it. Now a lot of people do what they call the sewing method, but it's hard to do the sewing method in a hoop. So I don't even bother. So I go one of two ways. I go, I do a full square, or I do what I call railroading, which is, I'll show you. This is going to be a railroading. Okay, you're going from your right bottom to your left top. Okay, and you repeat. Right bottom to the left top. And you do this all the way across. What you're doing is you're doing half of your stitch. You're not doing the full stitch. You're only doing half of it. Okay. I'll only do like 3 or 4 of these, and then I'll come back and show you. All right, there we go. Now, what you do is you start at your left bottom, like so, and put it on through your right top, coming back the other direction. Okay, same thing. You just repeat yourself. And what you're doing is you're actually doing half stitches, and eventually come back and turning them into full stitches. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And this black is really hard to see, but I'm doing the best I can. And there. You just did a section of 4 stitches right there. Okay? That's what I call railroading. There's other terms for it, I'm sure, but that's what I call it. And that's how we do the cross stitch on a 14 count. Now with an 11 count, you do basically the same thing. The only difference is that you cannot do a loop stitch, which is using the loop method. This time you have to do, let me get that up there and put that right there. Now I'm going to switch this out and I'm going to show you what an 11 count is going to do, okay? So let me put all of this together and I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, now this one is an 11 count. And this is the one I tried to start outside and I couldn't see it, so I had to bring it all indoors. So let me get this in the whole thing. Come on, get in there. Okay, now this is the 11 count. Okay, and as you can see, it's got a little tail right there. Okay, now let me finish this stitch across here and then we'll start it again and I'll show you how to actually start it with an 11 count without having to put a knot in it, because I am notorious, I hate knots. Okay, so just hold on a second while I finish this section right here out, and then we'll start it again. We'll cut it, we'll weave it in, cut it, and then we'll start it again, okay? And that way you understand what I'm doing. All right, here we go. Now, I am a firm believer in having a stand, some kind of a stand to hold your hoop, especially if you've got, you've got problems with your arms or your hands or something like that. It is easier for the stand, all right, come on, to hold your hoop than it is for you to hold it yourself and try to stitch one-handed. Oh, come on, would you stop doing that already? All right. There we go. One more and then we'll be done. And then I can cut it, I can, weave it in and cut it. And then we can start again. Here we go. See, most of the time when I stitch this way, I usually stitch two-handed. All right, we're going to take and flip this over. Here. And if you're a beginner, I'm going to show you what you do. Can you see that? Probably not. I will eventually find you. There you are. There you are. Okay. What I do is I take and I put my needle up under here and just sort of kind of weave it up underneath the stitches. Like so. And what that does is, help to anchor. If I can ever keep you in place. Well, it's a wonder I don't make you sick. But I do this a couple of times so I don't have to tie any knots. And it anchors your thread to where it's not going to come undone. Okay? And then all you have to do is take and cut your thread like so. You're done. right? It leaves no knots. It's flat. So if you ever want to mount this, okay, on a board or something, you're not going to feel any of the knots up underneath. Okay, that's the reason why I do that. All right, now let's start again. And there we go. Okay, now we're gonna start right over, say, right in here. Okay, and what we do, if I can keep you in the frame, is you go down. Okay, you pull it all the way down till you leave a little bit of a tail. Now I end up using a pin stitch, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, you be careful. Very slowly pull that because you don't want to pull your tail off. Then what you do, hang on. Okay, what you do is you take and you go halfway between the two, right in the middle of your square. Okay, you pull her on through, but don't pull too hard or you'll pull yourself loose. Then you come up to the hole that you first started in. Okay, if I can get the needle to cooperate. Oh, come on. There we go. And you just kind of hold on to your tail for a second. And what that is a pin stitch. See the little pin? Right there. See that little, that's that pin stitch right there. And then what you do is you bring your thread across to the other hole again. Okay, and that, boom. It is locked in. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and then you just push your tail out of the way, until you get, you get several stitches in, 2 or 3 stitches, and then you can cut the tail. Okay, it's just I've gotten so used to working around the tails it doesn't really bother me too much. Okay, and you just keep going, and that's how you start with an 11 count. And 11 count, I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. It's something to do with the way it's weaved, and I'm not really sure. Okay, I'll be honest with you. And when you go to order a kit or whatever, it'll tell you, it's an 11 count or it's 14 or 16 or 18 or whatever. I don't have any idea how to explain it. It's just that with an 11 count, you use 3 strands of thread. And with a 14 count, you use 2 strands of thread. Okay. With a 9 count, the way I understand it, because I've never done a 9 count, but I've got one. But with a 9 count, you use 4 strands of thread. Okay. And with an 18 count, you use 2 strands of thread. The same with a 16. Okay, does that make any sense? I hope it does. Anyhow, I'm not very good at explaining things. And that's it. That's all you do. It's just, you'll have to excuse my ugly fingers because I'm nervous all the time, and so I bite my nails all the time. So, you know, I've tried everything, and it just doesn't do any good. And but anyway, that is how we do an 11 count. So I hope this is helping, because you know me, it's easier for me to have hands on and and show you rather than try to explain, because I don't explain things very well. Anyhow, so but the one lady that contacted me, you let me know when your kit comes in, and then we'll get together and we'll figure out a time for when we can sit down and do a stitch along, and do it live, a certain time that's convenient for both of us. Now, I haven't heard any more from this other lady. Now, she said she was going to order herself a kit. Now, I haven't heard any more from her. So, I'll have to see if I can contact her and see if she's still interested. Okay. But as you can see, it's fairly simple. I know I've got you out of frame again. It's always the same. Because when I'm working, I'm pushing up against it. There we go. And, but as you can see, it's fairly simple, and mainly it's just making sure that the legs of your cross go in the same direction every time. And just take your time. You're not in any big hurry. It's not a race. Now, one thing I'll tell you, that this is not like diamond painting in the aspect of, this is one that you have to do. You have to spend quite a bit of time working on. It's not instant gratification like a diamond painting is. Diamond painting, you can start it and have it done in a few days, 3 or 4 days, if you work on it consistently. But with a cross stitch, you have to put a little more dedication into it. Okay, it's more time consuming, but it's very relaxing. And I have arthritis in my thumbs from stitching for so long, but I am not going to give it up. I love to stitch. But as you can see, it goes fairly quick. And but I would recommend getting a stand, so that your stand is holding the weight of your hoop, and that way you can eventually stitch two-handed, if that's what you want to do, if you get comfortable with it. Yeah. And like I said, the stand that I use is a Nerge, which it's solid wood. It's very, very durable. It's very versatile. And but again, it will not hold a Q-snap. Q-snap, the pipes that a Q-snap is made out of, is too wide. And so there we go. Ouch. Bumped it against the table. But as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's not that hard to do. Most of it is patience. That's the one thing it teaches you, is patience. But once you get used to it and you get in that repetitive motion, it seems to relax you. And You know, I got a fly over here that's driving me crazy. Get out of here. And, got one more stitch and then I can tie this one off because it's too far of a jump to go from here to down here. So what I do is I tie it off and I start again. Like so. Alrighty. Down we go. And what I did, like I said, is I don't know if you can see this or not, but I just run the needles under the stitches, just like so. And I usually do it twice. Right, so that way, I can secure my thread, just like so. And that way it's not going anywhere. And just snip, and I'm done. Just like that. So I hope that helped in my showing you how to do things, how to do this. And the one thing I will show you while I'm got you here, let's see, where are we? Ah, there we are. When you want to cut your thread, your tails, let's see, all you have to do is just kind of pull it a little bit, lay your scissors kind of flat, and carefully cut them, just like so. All right, there's two. And here's the third one. Okay, just kind of lay your scissors flat and go bloop. There you go. You're done. Nice and clean. And you can always start on the front instead of having to go from the back, which is kind of easy to do. And that's that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know when you get your kit in, and we will set up a time and we can work on the black cat with the red flowers together. Okay. All right. You have a blessed day. You have a nice day today. It's pretty out. At least it is here anyway. And it's like in the 60s, so it's not bad. But you have a blessed day. God bless you. God keep you safe, healthy, and happy. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.